YouTube, it is time for the day of Blue Eyes White Dragon in the top 16. We have White Dragons versus the Red Dragons, the Fire Tenpai Dragons. Now, on Master Meta, we can see on the tier list that Tenpai Dragon is at tier 2. So very likely at the current moment, it is better than Blue Eyes White Dragon until Blue Eyes receives its Prime Might support, which then I believe the deck will skyrocket up to tier 1. But we do have to wait for that to come out. Now, is Blue Eyes top tier at the moment? That's the big question that hopefully today's event will answer, because I honestly don't really know. I fear that the deck may be too susceptible to people teching in Ogres and Bestials, and then Primates will come out to make us less susceptible to that. But maybe I'm wrong, and I will be pleasantly surprised if Blue Eyes possibly even wins today's event. That's a lot of copium. Now, by watching as long as you can, that greatly supports this event. Let's get to it. Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Oh boy. Oh boy, what is this? What is this? We have combos for days. Wishes, Maiden, Sage, Parry, Reese map. It's like 4 combo starters. It's a bit too much here against a Max C. What do we do against Max C? Let's find out. In my opinion, I think it's worth it to still summon a Spirit Dragon to get your Blue Eyes White Dragon in the graveyard. If it's needed to get Blue Eyes in grave, even under the effect of Max C. Let's see if Kaniski agrees with me. Begin. I don't think we can afford to parry Reese map, which would half our life points to search against a Tenpai deck. Sage with Eyes of Blue on summon, searching our deck. Come to me. An effect Veiler that is definitely good to be searching. Maiden setting up the True Light. What did I say? I said it's worth it under Max C, including Fool Loss, to summon the Spirit with Eyes of Blue. Now, if you're under Fool Loss and Max C at the same time, then maybe I would reconsider. But this gets into circulation, your Blue Eyes White Dragon, very much worth it. Discard the Parry Reese map, search for another Veiler, right? Triple Veiler, let's go. Now, with the True Light, set the Majesty, which is only activatable if we have that Blue Eyes White Dragon in grave. So by giving them 1 draw under Max C, we have allowed the use of Majesty to non-target pop a card in the field, plus the True Light giving us the ability to reborn the Blue Eyes White Dragon. Now, it's very much important to note this, do understand this ruling, that if they declare an attack, and then you True Light summon a Blue Eyes and then summon Maiden, and then they redirect the attack on a Maiden, Maiden is not going to activate to reborn a monster from engrave. You're going to have to use it at the start of the battle phase. All right, let's see what's good. Triple Veiler plus Majesty pop. 4 disruptions. Ooh, True Light is now gone, but guess what? These 4 disruptions, there's still 4. We still got them. We good. Hydra, which the chat, I was reading the chat, I saw you chat. He's like, you could droplet dodge Veiler. Well, not if you wiped out their field by popping out the True Light first. So now we can't dodge the droplet. Our Hydra gets negated, where otherwise we could have done that. You were right. We're at triple disruption. Chandra special summoning along. Ooh, Chandra still summons. So I think maybe we had to pop this early. I don't know. Is this the correct play to do? We have 1 non-target pop, summon the Chandra. We're going to Veiler within the end of the main phase. We're now down to 1 Veiler left, and it worked out. We have survived. Now, what do you do when the True Light's in grave? The Maiden could set True Light from engrave, and the Parry Reese map will give us access to a Maiden. Now, the Sage will be additionally summoned here, searching for a Maiden. The Veiler will negate, but that's okay. With Maiden in grave, we could just reborn a Blue Eyes White Dragon, which will trigger the Maiden to resummon, which will activate the Maiden on field to set the True Light from engrave back on the field. There is a Forbidden Droplet, though. Maybe we're going to Droplet the Spirit. Nope, too late. Just like that, mate. We could use Droplet onto the Maiden, which would be a bad idea, because we'll just go into a Synchro. I think Tenpai is in big trouble. This is not good. Tenpai it's over. We're not going to even use the Maiden. We're going to go right into the Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon's going to jump off the field, going into our Crimson Dragon, which will be searching for a Synchro Rumble. Okay, this is quite interesting. Rumbling back onto the field, our Sage from engrave, as we're going to roar alongside it to go into another level 9 Synchro play. for Crimson Dragon to target either the level 9 or a level 12. Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon is here, ready to negate anything activated on the field as the Crimson Dragon goes into the Cipher Divine in attack position. A Spirit Dragon has to... Ooh, this is a situation. If we try to negate, we Droplet Mate, we can't stop that, we get negated, we get the summon from the deck, but whatever we summon from the deck, can this negate in the damage step? That's the big question, and I'll tell you preemptively it does, but how do we know that it does negate in the damage step? It says, actually it doesn't. What? I thought it negated the activation. Wow. Unbelievable. When your opponent activates a monster effect, negate the effect, not the activation. Thus, a Fadra summoned in the damage step will not be negatable by the Cipher Dragon. Huh? What do you mean you don't negate the activation? Should we have Ciphered first? Uh-oh. Had we Ciphered, they summon Fadra, the Ultimate Spirit would have been able to negate the Fadra, but not destroy it. Fadra could not be negated by the Cipher, reborning the Chandra activating the Synchro. Bruh, we could chain the other. Let's read this. Negate the effect. If you do destroy one card on the field, we still will negate the effect though. So you'll summon, come forth into our Biden Dragon, and Cipher, negate, destroy. So that still works even though you dodge the negate. It worked out, mate. Let's go. The Ultimate Spirit in the end phase protected by the Cipher. So pretty interesting rulings there. Where normally you have double Tenpai on the field to dodge a negation on them trying to synchro. But even though we did dodge the negate, you still technically get negated. Then the Cipher does get to destroy a card in the field, which worked out. Cipher doesn't work in the damage step. Ultimate does. Ultimate doesn't destroy. Cipher does. Crazy stuff. Let's hop into game number 2. Starting off with a maiden now. Why are we going first? Well, if Tenpai loses game 1, Tenpai wants to go second. They're a go second deck. And the dreaded Nibiru is here. Nibiru does quite well against Blue Eyes White Dragon. We also have Impermanence. We also have Fool Loss. Triple Hand Trap. Kaniski, good luck. You're going to need it. We're going to set up that True Light into Wishes. This is the Ash Blossom check. No Ash in sight. We are safely searching our deck for 2 cards. Sage on Summon. I would say this is not an Imperm check. You Imperm Veiler the Spirit with Eyes of Blue. In a simplified game state, it could potentially be good to Sage. Is this that simplified game state as we used a bunch of cards here? I don't know if I agree with this Imperm, but let's get negated as the Fool Loss is negated by the Ash. On the Resolution, no good. We're going to go into the Spirit. Spirit is going to be searching our deck for a Mausoleum. So a good reason to not negate the Sage is because what if they have another Sage in hand, they have another Tuner in hand, the Mausoleum allows you to additional summon, the Mausoleum also gets a Blue Eyes Engrave, and the Spirit is also able to reborn the Blue, it's 3 things. Reborn Blue Eyes, additional summon, a Tuner, and send a Blue Eyes in the deck. All 3 things negated if you instead Veiler or Imperm the Spirit with Eyes of Blue instead. Let's reborn our Blue Eyes White Dragon. We are at 3 summons, now 4. Wishes for Eyes of Blue, equipping onto the Blue Eyes White Dragon, going into a Spirit Dragon. We're now on 5 summons. Come forth and summon from the extra deck Crimson Dragon, which will on-summon search for our Synchro Rumble. When do we want to Blue Eyes? Roar is going to activate to summon from the deck Banishment or Engrave a Blue Eyes White Dragon. We're now going to Synchro Rumble. I would say just wipe this up right now, potentially right now. Yep, get it out of here. You're out. Blown out. Complete blowout from the Blue Eyes White Dragon. We do have the Majesty for some follow-up, which will give us double disruption. We have Ash and Majesty. So we still got some disruption through that. We can non-target pop up to 2 cards on the field. Oh boy, goodbye to the True Light. We're not, we didn't chain True Light though, which would have just been wiped out by whatever we summoned. That's why we would not want to do that. True Light, say goodbye to the token. We do have Ash Blossom, and we can't Ash the Dora, but we could try. I guess we're surrendering. Okay, I'm gonna search for my Genroku through you trying to negate my Dora. You can Ash that, by the way. The Genroku, summon from the deck, even with the field spell, and especially during the battle phase, you could just negate it. Now, Chandra summoned from the deck, can you Ash it? No, Ash negates the effect, not the activation, thus does not work on the damage step. Let's keep on going. And the Pydra also cannot be negated by Ash, even when the battle phase, if used at the start of the damage step off of the summon of a Chandra. You would then want to be coping that you could use Ash on Kaiman. Now, if you're a Tenpai player and you know that they might have Ash in hand, what you do is you summon a Transcendent Dragon or a Meteor Burst, where now the Ash is turned off, then you could use your Kaiman. So just remember, if they have one Ash, your Chandra plays through it all. Chandra can't be Ash, Pydra can't get Ashed, Kaiman can't get Ashed if you have a Meteor Burst or Transcendent. Ooh boy, so we had Kanasuke given the choice to have Tenpai go first. Nah, we want to go first. We are going first with 3 combo starters and 2 hand traps. Let's see what's good. We have to play through Ash, and we can negate the full loss with our Ash. All right. So normally you're going to save Ash for the Wishes of Eyes of Blue. We're Ashing the Sage, which gets hard punished if they already have a Maiden in hand, which they do. Ash negate the Full loss. Wow, okay, that did not really work out for Tenpai. Sometimes you gotta cope to get lucky. Now, think about this. Good players potentially will just play around Ash by not searching for the Wishes if they reasonably believe that they can make a great field without the Wishes. And I would encourage people to really think deep about that. Just know they're going to hold their Ash, and then don't go for Wishes if your play is already good. The Lightning Storm can try to wipe out the back, or the Cipher will protect it. But if we chain Droplet to the Lightning Storm, the Cipher will not protect it, and then the True Light will activate Engraver to wipe out the Cipher and the Ultimate Spirit, which is no longer protected. So this Droplet Lightning Storm play is going to be devastating. And then we have Kaiman for our full combo play, which Valor does not stop if we just battle phase. Damn. Is this F for Blue Eyes or what? Let's see what happens. Lightning Storm, Forbidden Droplet. Yep, exactly what I said is happening. Now, the Ultimate Spirit can summon a body from Engrave after being destroyed. That's going to be our saving grace. Will that be good enough, though? Holy moly, full wipage. Now, you may be thinking this could summon a monster from the extra deck. No, unless you're cheating. This can only negate a card effect Engrave because it states you have to tribute this Synchro Summon card. It's no longer Synchro Summoned, it's from the grave. And as I said, Valor completely dead. 3,000 defense. It's kind of a thick D. Let's see if we could go right through it, as we do have the Sangan Summoning, which could double the attack of a Synchro. Let's get our multiple attacks in. Tenpai is all about 3 attacks. 3 attacks, then you're able to reborn your Bident and Transcendent from the grave. So we're on 2 so far. We're now on 3, as we now go into our Trident Dragon. Trident Dragon is a very simple 18,000 damage. Holy moly, we got negated! Uh-oh! Uh-oh! What the? I don't think we planned for that. Huh. Oops. How do we deal with 3,000 defense? We have 3,000 attacks. 3,000 defense. We're trying, like maybe the game would bug and it just explodes on attack? No. Holy moly. Even though we can't tag out the Spirit Dragon, negating the Sangan Summoning was huge. Whoa. Synchro Rumble. Who's a believer in the Rumble? Well, that didn't really do much, so probably no one. We're going to spin back the Spirit Dragon, activate Engrave, summon from the deck of Fadra. Fadra reborn from Engrave our Chandra. Chandra is going to be Synchro Shokaning in the battle phase, as we're going to go into a Transcendent, forcing the Maiden into attack position, and then Maiden has to attack into a Transcendent Dragon. Ain't no way. And the Valors are completely dead here. Super dead. Well, no. We could normal Valor, Spirit Dragon, Reborn Blue Eyes, Reborn Maiden. Main phase 2. Yeah, we got something. We got a little something. Main phase 2, let's do that. Yep, exact. No. Why? Just do try, huh? Oh, are we out? All right. Why not do what I said? The Bident wasn't activatable in the grave. It wasn't going to be able to activate within that turn to get popped. All right, whatever. 2-1 victory. Let's go. Wish is the Eyes of Blue. We're going to check for the Ash Blossom right away as we search for 2 cards here. No Ash in sight. On Summon of the Sage, searching for the Maiden. We're now going to go for the Veiler in Imperm check. Get checking on the Spirit with Eyes of Blue. This is where I would be fearing. If the opponent has nothing activatable, I think the chances of Nibiru are rising. So we're going to send from the deck of Blue Eyes, activate the Maiden to equip into the back row the True Light. Spirits with Eyes of Blue is going to reborn the Blue Eyes White Dragon. So we're on summon 1, 2, 3, summon 4. And then on the 5th summon, this is where you, as a Blue Eyes player, where nothing else has been activatable otherwise, check if their field lights up. Is their field lighting up? Are they maybe they're really good at hiding Nibiru. Otherwise, most people on the ladder will not be good at hiding it. And you can see if the field lights up. We're going to equip the Neo Ultimate Blue Eyes onto the Blue Eyes White Dragon, additional summon with the Mausoleum, our tuner, to summon a second copy of our Spirit Dragon. True Light equipping into the back row our Majesty with Eyes of Blue set from the deck here. Now, this is really good. Holy moly. We have the Majesty with the ability to non-target destroy 2 cards on the field. And we also have the Double Spirit Dragon, which will be 2 additional disruptions, depending on whatever synchro we decide to summon from the extra deck, that is. Nothing else in the graveyard, really. I'm not going to count this as a form of disruption. It negates an effect that would target one of our Blue Eyes monsters, which could actually be really good against Fenrir. We don't have to fear Fenrir being summoned and swinging in early. But the Fenrir could swing in and target the True Light, which we maybe do not want that banished. Fenrir searching for the Unicorn here. Rise Heart, special summoning itself onto the field, allowing the Rise Heart to activate. We're not going to pop it with our Majesty. As we now go into a Shang-Ri. Now here's a problem. The Shang-Ri states that if this card would be destroyed, you could detach a material instead. So Majesty does not work on the Shang-Ri. What do we do? And why is this an attack position? Huh? We're gonna Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon jump off the field into the ultimate Spirit Dragon, allowing the Shang-Ri to swing in. It's Zeus time. Y'all forgot about Zeus? Zeus is back. Now, we do not have more materials to activate again. The Ultimate Spirit does not destroy when it negates. Negate the activation, we're now down to triple disruption left. We're going to Spirit Dragon jump off the field, going likely into our Crimson Dragon play. Yes, Crimson Dragon has an animation for some reason, as the Crimson Dragon will go likely into a Cipher or a Blazar Dragon. Most people are on Cipher. I think Cipher is a $25, maybe $30 card in TCG. Oh, Zeus and a Typhon. Well, I cannot activate my Cipher to negate and destroy, but before you activate, because you're not a trigger effect, I'm going to wipe you away before you activate. Would Typhon had been a lot better if it activated on summon instead of only activatable in an open game state? I think so. In most cases, it'd be better than not. Wipe away the Typhon, as we're now down to just the Cipher Disrupt. Yeah, we have Cipher ready to negate and destroy a monster effect, but it's the end phase. Typhon wouldn't allow us to additional summon the Unicorn. Macrocosmos, we didn't even care to set it. I would think we don't want to reveal that we're playing Macrocosmos, even though there's no side deck going into game 2 and 3. All right, Blue Eyes, you could win going first. But how about you try winning when I actually start my turn with a normal summon Barrier Statue with the set Macrocosmos? Ooh, Pot of E. We are under the effect of Fuelos, which they will be able to draw per summon from our deck or extra deck. Now, what's the damage of this Pot of E? Did we completely lose our Big Eye? Let's see the extra deck. Big Eye is gone. Gone for good. We still have a Rise Heart. We still have Shang-Ri. And we also have Solemn Judgment, a really good turn 1 card, pretty much negates anything but a monster effect. Ogre, searching for the preparations here. And let's go. It's worth noting with the preparations against True Light, you'd want to know, does it work if True Light's already face up and it activates? Will this continually be terrorizing the True Light? And the answer is, If your opponent activates a trap card or effect, what kind of a trap? The effect of a trap or a card of the trap, which means while it's already face up, every turn we're going to be able to look at the opponent's hand and banish a card from it face down. This will be incredibly annoying. Beyond that, we have Solemn Judgment, we have Ash, we also have Max C, which is not a disruption inherently. Can we win under Max C, though? Can we minimal plays? We did not Solemn Judgment, the Sage Summon. The Ogre is triggering to look at the top 5 cards of the deck. They're returned back in the same order as you banish one of those 5 cards. We're going to banish away the Wishes. As we activate another Wishes from in hand, this will be the Ash check. Definitely negate that. We're going to chain Preparations, using the effect to summon from the hand a Fenrir. Fenrir is going to give us another form of disruption. So we have Solemn Judgment and Fenrir. On the resolution of a monster effect, we can banish a card face down. We're going to send a Blue Eyes from the deck to the grave. We are under the effect of Max C, thus we didn't want to go into the Spirit to search. If we didn't have Mausoleum, searching for Mausoleum I think would have been worth it to make a Spirit, but then we also get banished by the Fenrir. We're going to use Valor to negate the Fenrir from searching the deck, as we're going to chain the Preparations to summon an Ogre from our hand. Now, we can trigger the Ogre again, looking at that deck. It's in the same exact order as we're going to leave it after banishing a card, as long as they don't shuffle their deck, which they did with the Mausoleum. Now we know what they're going to be drawing next turn. To battle, we go. True Light on the attack of the Fenrir, reborning our Blue Eyes White Dragon. Halting on the attacks, but a triple rank 7 exceeds a Rise Heart, ensuring that any card sent to the grave is now banished instead as we banish away the True Light. Rise Heart triggering to equip a Banished Shang-Ri. How do we beat this? 3,000 defense, Solemn Judgment, everything is banished. Oh, we get boosted actually. We're big enough to take out the Rise Heart. We were gonna gain a second material, but Solemn Judgment wouldn't stop the attack. Why scoop, Boda? I'm curious. What? We didn't have. We needed 3 materials to banish. Couldn't we have just swung? I feel like we could have swung and been okay. Yeah, why? Why we do that? I'm very happy for you to see. How do you combo off with Kaiser Seahorse? This will send a Maiden from the deck as the Mausoleum sends the Blue Eyes White Dragon, and that is how you make use of the Kaiser Seahorse. So let's see what's good. Summon the Spirit, trigger the Seahorse. Let's speed this up. Send from the deck a Maiden, draw a Lockbird. You can no longer add from the deck to your hand. We're going to send a Blue Eyes White Dragon, reborn the Blue Eyes, reborn the Maiden. You can activate the Maiden on the field if you want to equip into the back row your True Light. Instead, we're going to go into the Spirit Dragon. Now, Spirit Dragon within the draw phase, going into an Ultimate Spirit Dragon, ready to negate the activation of any card on the field. So this ensures that the Maxi goes through. Would this negate Call by the Grave? No, we don't need to, because you can't even activate it. Cannot banish cards from the graveyard, as straight up. No banishing for you. Unicorn is here, which we're going to use Majesty to wipe it out. I mean, it's like we have to deal with a card like the Unicorn, but we know that by playing against Kashtira, if we wipe away their monster, that means they could summon another Unicorn. They could summon a Fenrir. Come forth, Fenrir. Fenrir is here, and we didn't use the Wishes, so we didn't have the Neo Ultimate to protect our monster from being targeted by being banished from the Fenrir. We're going into the Star Slayer, so it's still just not going to even be activatable. Non-target, spin it back in the extra deck. I mean, we got a bunch of draws off that Max C, though. I think that was quite worth it. The issue is, how strong will the Rivalry of Warlords be? You have Magna Hut searching for the Druid Swarm. Rivalry will lock the opponent into Dragon only. Druid Swarm banishing to come forth and summon. If Druid Swarm sent to the grave, it will then send a special summon monster to the graveyard. Kaiser into the Spirit with Eyes of Blue. We're locked in a Dragon anyway, as the Kaiser sends from the deck a Blue Eyes Jet Dragon. Blue Eyes Jet Dragon is amazing in the grind game. And what are you going to do against stun? You're going to get grinded. And how do we even summon this? If a card in the field is destroyed, you could special summon this, and then at the start of the damage step, you could target the Rivalry of Warlords and return it back to the hand. This is going to be insane. If we win this duel, it's going to be because of that card, I believe so. Spirit with Eyes of Blue, summoning a dragon from the grave. We're going to go straight into the Jet Dragon, but aren't there some restrictions with the Spirit with Eyes of Blue? It states that you are going to summon a Blue Eyes, but if you summoned an effect monster, it cannot attack and its effects are negated. Huh. Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope that we weren't trying to attack with it. And it could have just triggered right then, and by destroying Rise Heart by battle, any card in the field, not your own. So if the Rise Heart on field is destroyed by battle, summon this from the grave. I think that might have been a mistake. Yeah, I don't think we wanted to do that. Solemn Judgment, negate the Heretic Seal. And what do we have from here? We have Jerusalem triggering to send the Unicorn to the graveyard. Now, Preparations does not reborn from the grave. It only summons from the hand or the banishment. Nothing in hand, nothing banished, no good with Preparations. And the Jet is just stuck on the field. I'm stuck. What the heck? What's going on here? We have the Pressure Planet field spell, search in our deck, attempting to search for a Kashtira, Ash, negate, we're in a simplified game state. We are going to, we're big enough thanks to the Kashtira field spell boosting us up. I think Boda secretly is happy about getting the Jet Dragon engrave. We could, if we're a mad lad, we could normal summon a monster, swing in, take a lot of damage, trigger the Jet Dragon Reborn, and then spin the Typhon back within the damage step. And could Solemn Judgment stop any of that? Solemn Judgment could stop the initial summon. And if you negate the summon, the effect of the Jet Dragon would not work because the card has to be on the field when it gets destroyed, and it was never on the field if destroyed by Solemn Judgment. But we have the Veiler going to Spirit Dragon play instead. Or pass. Straight up pass. We don't, nope, we don't want to do anything. We don't want to try to reborn Blue Eyes White Dragon from the grave. And now there's a barrier statue. Huh. We have Imperm, though. Imperm negating the rivalry and the barrier statue. Can Solemn Judgment negate this? Nope. Can Solemn Judgment negate that? Nope. Can Solemn Judgment negate that? Yes. And it probably will. Yep. Negate. But we have Veiler. And I think I was incorrect in saying you could summon Jet Dragon. This does have an effect right now, which states that neither player could activate the effects of monsters with 3,000 or more attack no matter where they are. Thus, the Jet Dragon cannot activate. We can, oh boy, Spirit Dragon summon Blue Eyes, boost up with the Mausoleum, yes? Mausoleum will, the targeted monster gains 800 attack by sending a Blue Eyes from the deck to the graveyard onto the Blue Eyes we summon from engrave, as long as we have a Blue Eyes in the deck to send, which we do. So that's our play. Why are we not summoning Veiler into Spirit Dragon? We have the play, do we not? Wait, where's your other Spirit Dragon? How many do you play? Did we go through 2 already? There's 1 banished. Is there another one engrave? Crap. It's normal to play 2. This is not Boda's fault. It's normal. It's normal. Shoot. Damn, that sucks. Huh. Yeah, okay. Well, we got True Light. Let's get True Lighting. And as I said, the engraved Jet Dragon can't activate because the Typhon's negating it. Not really negating it, but disallowing it from being even able to activate. Maiden, Reborn, come forth, get swinging. No Jet Dragon. Rivalry locking you into whatever the first type of monster you decide to have out on the field. But now we can no longer summon Blue Eyes into Maiden. We can't walk, and the barrier's even just stopping that straight up. We can't activate Roar, the barrier statue. Damn. Had we had a third spirit, which is like anyone, is there like the chosen one somewhere on in the TCG that's maybe playing 3 spirit? Who is the chosen one? Because I don't think anyone, I mean, there might be a very small percent. Ooh, 8% are on 3 spirit, 92% playing just 2. Interesting. All right, well, Boda, unfortunately, you lost to the side deck in an event where the side deck does not exist. That does suck. Now, let's hop into another match. Hey, a break from Blue Eyes. Are we appreciative of that yet, or we don't want to go back to this, do we? Drolling Lockbird, which is a great counter against the Engraver searching for the Tract. And it's going to make you think if you even want to be ever opening up your turn with a Fiendsmith and a Tract, which then plays horribly in a Droll. You have Diablo Star being negated by the Ghost Mourner. Summon the Oak, come forth into the Moon of the Closed Heaven. We're going to be burning for 2,500, and now you lose the time. We're now going into Requiem. Getting ready with the... Holy moly, Gio, what's going on? Is there someone at the front door? Engraver, summon from the deck with the Requiem. We're going to return the Engrave Light Fiend back to then summon the Engraver to go into our sequence. Sequence can get negated by Valor unless we're waiting to Nibiru on the resolution of the Lacrima Reborning. We're going to just Veil. Negate. Just like that, mate. Now, how did we make this sequence? With 2 level 6s. So the opponent, if they maybe were hard telegraphing the cards in their hand, making it obvious that they had a Valor and or a Nibiru with their field continually lighting up at the wrong moments, Shadow could have been like, this is super sus. I'm going to make a hard left turn and instead make a Caesar that I don't actually play in my extra deck. What the? Where's Caesar, mate? And then Caesar would, they'd have to Nibiru and Valor to play around the Caesar. Serenir banishing the Engraver here. Be gone with you. Shadow's got nothing. I don't know if you need me to tell you that. Yeah, they had absolutely nothing. Baldrake banishing away the other copy of Engraver. Engraver semi-limited. And both are banished. M7 is a really good way to recycle your hand traps or your Bestials. It's nuts. Serenir triggering to get a Lubellian Engrave here. To battle we go, wipe it up. And now there's this weird pressure on the M7 where we have to deal with it or it's going to +1 again. We don't want it to recycle another hand trap. And we do have Bonfire though. Bonfired up, the Engraver engine is completely knocked out. We're gonna grab a Poplar on summon, triggering to search our deck. We know the Valor is already in hand. Negate the Poplar. The Nibiru is private knowledge. We do not know about this card. We're gonna summon a Link Karibo, probably normal summon the Max C soon. Max C into Little Knight Banish. Banish away the M7, and the Little Knight is, in a way, a counter to Nibiru. If you were at 5 summons or more, the Little Knight could banish the other monster to dodge the Nibiru. Druistorm banishing away the Link Karibo. We're going to just go right in, not activate Druistorm by tributing it with the Lubellian, because then the Little Knight could jump off the field. And this is where the real problem happens. The Beast or the Regained. Beast is going to be able to tribute off within the main phase one of your Bestials to pop a card on the field. Only within the main phase, though. This is not worth popping. We're going to grab a Druistorm within the end phase. Now back to us. We have a Max C. Lubellian is now going to be setting up the Regained. Before the Regained is on the field, which would then allow us to draw a card and also summon a Bestial from the graveyard, we want to summon our Druistorm early. Very important to do so. Drawing into a Droll Lockbird here, that is not very good. That 3,000 defense is an issue. We got to get the Druistorm Engrave to trigger to send the Lubellian, but by getting it Engrave, it would require us summoning from the extra deck, which would trigger the Regain to reborn a Bestial and then allow it to be usable at the Beast. This is a tough spot for Shadow. Imperm off the top of the deck. That D is way too large. How do we deal with it without summoning? We can't. Now, we do have Imperm in the same column as the Regained at least. Now we're in trouble. Return back the Requiem, draw a card with Regained. We do not want them to be in a position where they're drawing a card every single turn with the Regained. We can now tribute off the Druistorm to pop a card in the field only within the main phase. We're going to hold off. Regain pinning them down from wanting to summon. We're going to Beast, tribute off Druistorm, pop the Magna Hut, send the Druistorm, send the Lubellian. That is fine with us. You're going to have to summon at some point, and if you do, Regained will trigger. Wanted Seeker, grab back the Diablo Star. Are we brave enough to summon it? No, we can't. Regained is too much. We're at a standstill. Who's going to summon? You got to do something. Haga is going to be gaining Endless Advantage soon. Setting a card, thankfully, does not trigger the Regained reborning a Bestial. Holy Hand Trap. Now, we do have in our extra deck the... wait a second. You are not playing Fiendsmith in your version of Hand Trap Bestial. Okay. Regained is triggering. Imperm is also negating. Call by the Grave is fingering that Druistorm, which will further trigger the Regain to return it back to then draw a card, despite it not being summoned on the field. Goodbye to Druistorm. Negate the column. Call by the Grave already activated. As you are negated on the Diablo Star. Let's now get drawn. Are we drawn into a Bestial? Retaliating Sea on the activation of a spell card to summon, we get to special summon Retaliating Sea, then any card sent to the grave is banished instead. Now, would that work on the Divine Temple, activating to summon a monster from the back row? No, that's not the activation of a card. But the original Sinful is, and that is more than enough for lethal damage. Endless hand traps, Nibiru, imperms up the wazoo, and we're scooping to lethal damage. Pass, turn 1. Okay. Yeah, pass, back to you. Okay. You know their deck is filled to the brim with Bestials, so why are we going to give them something to Bestial? They're all Bestials. How many Bestials is that if your deck's all Bestials? You have like 3 Baldrake. How many Jerusalem can you play now? Are we talking like 8 Bestials maybe are in their deck? Imperm, negate, the Diablo Star. And there we go. We are in the grind game. Get ready for the back and forth where we have to focus on the best possible 1-for-1s, ideally turning into them minusing. So what did we trade? We negated an effect. They had to lose a card, but they keep the card in the field. We're going to set the Retaliating Sea, which if this card is sent from the field to the grave, we add Max C. You what, mate? Come to us, Max C from the deck. Searching for our Max C. Shadow knows that any amount of damage dealt to Haega's life is worth going for. The life points is an actual resource. Set regain, then set a Fool lost. This is sad. I can't Baldrake. How is there no light or dark monsters in either player's grave? Well, we made it so by not activating the Engraver. That's incredible. At this point, if there were side deck, Shadow maybe would have sided out the Engraver. We are chaining Max C. Call to the grave, finger away, the Ash Blossom. And we did not cross out Designate. Come forth and summon our Snake Eye Ash. Ash on summon. Add from the deck nothing as the Veiler negates. But we're going to cross out Designate. This tells me we're trying to lethal damage here. I think so. With 5,000 life, we're taking Maxi challenge. We didn't negate the Maxi. We instead negate the Veiler. But then the Ghost Mourner negates. Now, this is actually illegal in the TCG. The Ghost Mourner would have to be used first, and so otherwise you would not be able to hide it in your hand. Negate the Snake Eye Ash. And I'm not like kidding. It's not like cheating or something. It's just how the TCG works differently. Return the Veiler back in the deck to draw our own Veiler. That seems a bit sus. 2,500. I mean, that's it. One more Diablo Star attack and it's over. 2,500. Haega is sweating. And Haega can't summon the Baldrake. Can we summon Veiler, link it off, and then summon Baldrake, please? We got to start triggering the regain. We have to draw every time a light or dark is banished. We do have a Veiler engraved, so we're good. Finally, a light or dark so we could summon that Baldrake. Is it going to be safer to use the Engraver next turn, maybe to push for lethal? I don't know. We're very much afraid of Bestials. Swinging in, 2,500. The regain drawing into a Nibiru, which could help against a big push for game. Triple Tactics Talent will make the Engraver more worth using. You are... Ooh, we're going to draw on Lockbird. If I take control, do we win? Uh-oh! No way! It's not about the pluses and the trades. It's about your life points, and we are reducing it to 0. Nicely done. Wow. Begin. Got Veiler. Veiler is good against a summoned Ash, of course. Imperm or Veiler. What do I even say? You want me to count disruptions? Of course we lose. Negate, 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 negate. Lots of negates. Summon Max C into Typhon. Well, Desiree is not 3,000 attack. We could negate if we want to. We just lost 3 negates. I guess that's something. And we also get spinning, but we can negate. Negate the Typhon. If we were to have swung into the Desiree could send a card on the field to the graveyard. So we wanted to go for the Apollo USA instead. We have a bluffed Advent, which does nada, nothing, 0. We have a Shifter, which is a completely dead card. It is limited to 1 due to how powerful it is. But let's end this duel, yes? Equip Requiem onto the Engraver, send the Typhon, and then we should have enough for lethal if we could have another body on field, as we do. Maxi was actually needed for game. Nicely done. Lethal damage. Luandere's losing game 1, but Luandere's now going first. Let's pot a E. We don't care about our extra deck. Draw 2 into the Droll. We could chain the Advent to the Droll, but how good is that really? And been banished. Toucan plus another body. Can add back the Empin, then summon it. But that is not going to work out. Holy crap. We're passing with just DD Crow. There's no way that's going to be good. We have 2 combo starters, Ash and Bonfire. Even if Crow were to just delete Ash from the game, we would then Bonfire into Poplar. Uh-oh. Let's go. Send the back row, some for the deck. The Oak, DD Crow is not restricted by light and dark monsters like a Bestial, nor does it have to even be used on a monster. We're just going to use it on whatever we want. This is something I never considered. Do we have to equip the monster to summon Snake-Eyed Diablo-Star? Place it in the face-up, and if you do summon, I guess that could have potentially been a DD Crow. I'm not saying it would have been a good one, but it would have stopped the summon. We're going to DD Crow in response to the sequence. Banish away the Engraver to force out either a fusion that can't happen or a fusion that's not as good. That was bad. Lacrima is going to target the Banish Engraver as if the DD Crow literally did not exist. I think we should just surrender. I mean, we knew we were going to lose, right? That was no bueno. Now, understand this. Lacrima can reborn an Engraver engrave, or a banish one, or add it back to the hand. So when the Lacrima targets the Engraver engrave, you chain DD Crow to banish it, it would still add it, right? Because it could add it that's banished or engrave. It does not add it because it's no longer where it originally was, where we tried to add it. Even though we can add it when it's banished, we have to target it when it's banished. You target it from engrave, it then gets banished. That is when you would DD Crow. I think we would still lose anyway, by the way. This is not like a misplay throw. We lost the whole duel because of a bad use of DD Crow. I think we are trolling. We're just having a good time. We're going to lose no matter what. It was done. Your field spell does not exist to us if we go first. You do have Imperm, which Imperm will be best used on the Kick Kalos. Now, with Kick Kalos negated on the field, what do? We want to get her in the graveyard to mill 5. The Fiendsmith engine's got your back. We do have the ability to perform a fusion summon. We can negate up to 3 monster effects. We can Masquerena double banish, and we have a Nibiru. So it's about 7 disruption. We're going to start this off with a Dragon Shrine. Shrine send from the deck a Dark Worm, activating Couplet to search our deck for the Concerto, which could fuse with our back row. We're going to use the Dark Worm to try to reborn. We're going to call it the Grave Finger, which was not part of my original 7 disruptions. It's too conditional to include it within the 7s, but it is great that it ended up being an amazing disruption. We now have Summon Breaker. I don't think that's going to be good enough. We're going to end phase. Beatrice, send Havnus, Fusion Summon. Let's go. Lacrima, burn for 1200. Now, Book of Eclipse is great if you're not playing against Link monsters. And it's also gone. Well, let's put everything into attack position, or let's just scoop before that. I will now start the duel with a Summon Breaker against you. You can go first, that's great, but with Summon Breaker preemptively being on the field on your 3rd summon, your turn will end right away. Prelia, in the standby phase, playing around a triple tactics talent. Asinato summons from the deck, though, unaffected by the Prelia, as the Bacha will now trigger to reborn from the deck. Summoning from the deck our refrain. It's not a fool loss, so again, we're not drawing. Again, we're not going to draw again as the couplet triggers in hand to summon a monster from the grave. We are not able to floodgate with the field spell, but beyond that, our forms of disruption are through double monster negate Apollo, but nothing's really protecting it from battle. So if we could very simply just swing over it. We also have Ash Blossom to gain interaction with the deck. We have Masquerena, which could go into a Little Knight double banish, which will give us a total of 5 forms of disruption versus 4 cards in hand. The Unicorn could right away try to enter the battle phase, force out an early use of the Masquerena. That's what I'm thinking may be happening here. Yep, that's exactly what happened. And we attempted to go to battle phase. Masquerena said, no, we're going into Little Knight. We still activate Unicorn. And we get Chain Link blocked by our own Little Knight. The non-turn player trigger effect will block us from negating the Unicorn with our Apollo, even though we probably would not want to negate that. Banish away the Unicorn. We're now down to 4 forms of disruption. Looking at that extra deck, what do we want to delete? Deleting the Beyond the Pendulum, banish face down. Follow up Rhino Heart. We're not going to use Apollo because then the Rhino could swing over it. We're going to call by the grave. Finger the Ash Blossom. We're now down to 3 forms of disruption. Little Knight's going to chain banish. We're now down to 2 forms of disruption. And on the resolution of sending the Tearlament to the grave, the Apollo will negate, dropping her attack down to 800. But we have no monster to swing over the Apollo. Havness negated by the Apollo. We're now down to 1 disrupt left. We have a dead Sulliek, completely dead, not gonna be able to do anything. Best play was to just surrender. Let's hop into game 3. We didn't Ash. That's interesting. I feel like that's a pretty good Ash. I mean, a mill 3 and a free special summon and potentially trigger anything we sent to the graveyard. We're now gonna be ashing the Rhino Heart, which we didn't chain link block. We could have if we wanted to. By putting the Sulliek on the higher chain link, Rhino would have went through. What do we have here? We have a way to trigger a fusion, which will be a disruption. We have triple monster negate. We have the Little Knight double banish. This is 6 forms of disruption plus a max C. If we max C in the standby phase, it could play around an early use of triple tactics talent, which very much wants to take control of the Apollo to then negate our monster effects. But they do have Ash to negate our max C. Let's see what we end up doing here. Uh-oh, we are waiting with that max C. Couplet is going to activate to search for our Concerto. We're now going to set up the Supreme King Gate. We're going to use Beatrice to trigger a fusion summon. Ash instead used on Beatrice instead of the Max C. Apollo's going to negate the Ash Blossom, but now the triple tactics talent can take control. Now what happens if you Masquerena chain to a triple tactics talent going into a Little Knight, they then take control of the Little Knight, you then have the effect of Little Knight. If you take control of it on its summon, you get to use their Little Knights of on-summon effective banishing. Kid Cal's going to send from the deck a Sharon. We're going to further fuse away into our Drago Stapelia. This is the way we're going to... wow, we're just not even giving them time to activate that triple tactics talent. Going straight away into a Little Knight, banish away the Supreme King, and we're going to hold. We're going to keep it a secret in our pocket. We're going to use the Dark Worm. Dark Worm will get negated by the Apollo USA. We may go for a draw 2 instead. I mean, this is a pretty nasty field. As I thought so, we are going to YOLO draw 2 into an unfortunate looking to be end of the duel. Let's finger Beatrice. That was disrespectful. All right, finger Beatrice, then leave. Wow. And Justinian allowed it to happen. 2-1 victory. Let's go into another match. Begin. Against White Forest. White Forest on the tier list at tier 2. Super good deck, right alongside Tenpai. We're going to Imperm negate the Diablo Star, which has recently become a pretty good play to do because otherwise they go into the Sinful Deception play where Imperm is not as good against. We're going to Lurie into our Requiem. With our other impermanence, we could save it for the sequence. Triple hand trap, and there's still a triple monster negate on the field. That just doesn't seem right. That is crazy. We didn't have a cross-out designator. We didn't have a call by the grave. Nuts. How do we play through a triple monster negate? Well, the Apollo is going to be a card that you're going to want to just simply battle over once it gets reduced low enough. We have the Vanquish Soul Mad Love getting negated by Apollo. Apollo is still going to be too big for the Mad Love to swing over here. So we're going to link this up into Rock of the Vanquisher. With Rock of the Vanquisher, we're going to be activating to add a Vanquish Soul from the graveyard to the hand. Again, negate. One negate left at 800 life. We're going to turn the Vanquisher into a Typhon. Typhon is great if you have a ton of hand traps or back row in your deck. Unfortunately, we have neither at the moment. Typhon is going to be disallowing 3,000 attack or more no matter where they are to not be activatable. Immediately, the Engraver could out the Typhon by equipping a Requiem. Requiem could then send it to the graveyard. And with no disruption in sight, can Yuri set up 8,000 damage? I would think so. Instead of using the Requiem to send the Typhon, we're going to use the Requiem as a cost for our Alzette. Sylvie on summon, going to be searching for the tails. We should just speed this up. Let's go into Rusilla. Rusilla is going to send Tails to search for the Sinful Spoil to recycle the Tails from Engrave back on the field after using it to activate a monster effect as we search for the Brucia, special summoning for control of White Forest. Discard the Sinful Spoil to draw a card randomly into a Fenrir we can't even summon. I think we probably had about 30 more actions after that until Crusader decided to just surrender early. Nicely done. Let's hop into game 2. Stake your soul. Oh my Jesus. The memories are coming back. Reveal the Jiaolong. Summon a Raisin. Raisin on summon is going to be searching for a Mad Love. It's scary to use Imperm against Vanquish Soul. You got to remember that they could chain return the Raisin back if they have the right monster in hand. Raisin is going to be revealing to trigger the Jiaolong to come forth and summon. As the Raisin now turns into a Rock of the Vanquisher, which will activate to either summon from the hand or add from the grave back to the hand. We're going to Imperm negate. We're going to Jiaolong mate. We're going to reveal 2 fires to add a Vanquish Soul from our deck to our hand. We're on 3 summons so far. Vanquish Soul, Snow Devil. We do not have the ability to wipe out the entire field. The Snow, we could though, because we could search for the other copy, which would be the Earth, right? Yes, if we have Dark Earth and Fire in the hand, we can destroy all monsters on the field. And we also have the Ash Blossom, we have Imperm, and we could summon Raisin, right, to then destroy a column. So we kind of have about 4 disruptions. Now, a good Earth monster to be searching for will, of course, be the Valius. And the Valius could maybe be a form of disruption as we... we're going to be able to reveal... I don't think we could destroy a card in the field. It's going to be our only Earth, so we're not going to be able to reveal an Earth. I say we got 4. Jiaolong revealing early to ensure we can activate the Snow Devil to non-target destroy all monsters on the field. When do we do it, though? Halonazamina chaining the Wanted Seeker. We're not going to Ash negate that. We're going to grab a Diablo Star from the deck, and I'm not saying we should Ash that. You definitely should not. As we go into a Rasala Go. Now, this is quite unlucky for Crusader because the Halonazamina is a 1-of that they should be searching for, which your Ash should be able to negate, as we instead negate the Rasala Go from going into the deck. Negate. Triple disruption. Tails of the White Forest searching for an Alzette, which will send the Morian, as we first instead send in a Nibiru to summon Diablo Star. Diablo Star setting up into the back row. Nothing as the Imperm negates. 2 disrupt left. Is the Raisin even a form of disruption? Reveal a Fire and Dark, destroy all monsters in this card's column. It's, I guess, yeah, we could Caesar Valius return back the Jiaolong and then reveal the Jiaolong and the Mad Love to get destroying. Okay. It is. We're doing exactly that, I believe, yes? But now we can't Snow Devil. I think we had to Snow Devil first. Oops. Destroy the... Oh, no, we search. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. We're actually good. We search with the Raisin on summon, and now we destroy the column. Taking out the Diablo Star, we still have Snow Devil, which Yurievna is not forcing us to want to use. The Rasala Go is going to activate when destroyed by battle. Add a Sinful Spoil from your deck to your hand. That is nuts that it has that effect if you end up negating it from adding. As we summon the Elzet in main phase 2. Are you ready to wipe out the field? When do we want to do that? We're going to use the Hallowed Azamina, sending the Sinful Spoils of the White Forest to the graveyard to come forth and summon Sylvia, which can now negate the Snow Devil. We actually have another form of disruption. The Caesar can non-target pop a card in the field. Yeah, this actually worked out insanely well. I was incorrectly saying the Caesar would not have an Earth monster to reveal, but the Raisin was not only a form of disruption, but a way to give us an Earth monster to ensure that we can non-target pop as the Sylvia negates the pop. Negate the Valius. And now we're gonna wipe out the entire field. Reveal, reveal, reveal. Burn, wipe the field. Into a scoop. Ooh, Vanquish Soul with the plays. I think it is incredibly cool to be able to summon your Raisin into a specific column to then wipe out that column. I love that. Also searching to help ensure you have an Earth monster for the Valius to get poppin'. We imperm Diablo Star, and then I guess the Elzet Azamina can fuse with it into a Rasalago. Uh-oh. Let's see what happens. Diablo Star summoned by discarding the Fua Loss. Imperm. Negate. And then we follow up with the Elzet Azamina. Rusia return itself back in the field by returning the Rusilla back in the extra deck to summon a Little Knight that will be untargetable. What are our forms of Disrupt? Under the effect of Max C. Let's see if we negate this. Do we let this go through? We try to negate it. We Baron to floor? Yes, we do. Baron to floor, negate. Now, on the resolution of this, our forms of disruption are exactly what? We have Diabel, which could flip the entire opposing field face down. We have Little Knight, which could chain banish an opposing monster. We have the Sinful Spoil, which could go into a Guardian Chimera, which could pop up to 2 cards on the field. That is a triple disrupt. All right, let's see. Baron to floor, getting out of here. Within the standby phase, summoning our Diablo Star, equipping into the back row a Morion that cannot be activated this turn. We have Mad Love on summon search in our deck as the Little Knight chain banishes it away. We're going to chain the Heavy Borger to dodge the banishment, thus the Little Knight is going to stay on the field. We're going to Diabel chain summon from the extra deck, which will be not the field flippage, so we're going to go back down to 1 disruption. Not drawing into a relevant hand trap. Grabbing a Dust Devil, Elzet triggering, and a Stellar. A Stellar's going to summon on the field, Elzet's going to add to the hand. We do have the ability to non-target pop with the Guardian Chimera. Being able to non-target pop is so important against Vanquish Soul because if you target their card for disruption, they can return it back to the hand. But if it's non-target disruption, it's not as effective. Oh boy, yeah, let's just get out of here. You did get top 16 though. I'm very happy for you on that. Begin. Sending the Absol with the Diablo Star. Will trigger both cards here. Absol is going to be searching for a rocket monster from the deck. And Diablo Star potentially, getting ready to turn on that Retaliating Sea. We don't even know it that we're about to play into it, or do we? Maybe we wait. If we wait, we don't lose to Retaliating Sea. We're going to strike our Dragon, search for the boot sector launch. Serenir is going to attempt to banish here. The Magna Hut's going to block the Serenir from being summoned by banishing the card you wanted to banish. Keep that in your hand. Magna Hut searching within the end phase. We have Boot Sector launch, launching our Rocket Tracer onto the field as we now make a Romulus. Do you know they have Retaliating Sea, Virus? I feel like you know. No, you don't know, because we're now playing right into it. Retaliating Sea is here. Any card sent to the grave will now be banished instead. As we said, So what do we want to do? Little Knight. Make Little Knight. We're going to add Poplar, summon Poplar, trigger, search our deck for a Divine Temple. And we're going to use the Divine Temple to equip into the back row our Snake-Eyed Diablo Star from the hand. We're going to a Borland Dragon, which can instead negate the Retaliating Seed. Now, it's worth noting, Poplar banished, Ash banished, Diablo Star all our cards just got banished. But if we have a Rocket Engrave, we can permanently negate that Retaliating Seed. Negate and reborn the Rocket Tracer. I would say that was better than making a Little Knight. Great. Now we could use Dragon Ravine to send from the deck to the graveyard by discarding. We could use the effect of the Serenir sending a Safer from the deck to the grave here. We could use the effect of the Safer to add the Engraved Lubellion back to our hand to then search our deck for a Bestial. Come to us, Druid Swarm. With the Druid Swarm, we could banish a Lighter Dark to summon, and then we could summon our Lubellion. But first, we're going to use Rocket Tracer to pop the field spell, summon from the deck a Recharger. Making Dissipator here. Dissipator is actually pretty good to send to the graveyard through your Lubellion to then set up a Regain that could reborn your Dissipator back in the field potentially. Let's reborn the Safert. Oh my, doing so much in this deck. This deck is nuts. We're going to summon the Wyvern Burster, as I said, tribute off the Dissipator to summon the Lubellion after searching for the Wyvern Burster. Lubellion setting up the Regained as we now link this away into a Little Knight that cannot activate on summon. That's fine. It's still a body on the field. Sure. I just noticed her, her lace on her shoulder moves. That's pretty cool. We're going to Collapse Serpent, banish from Engrave, trigger, regain, return back the Wyvern Burster, randomly draw into Attract. Is that going to open up more plays as we could now add a Lurie to then go into Fiendsmith? What kind of Dragon Link is this? Dragon Link, Snake Eye, Fiendsmith? How do you have room in your extra deck? Huh? Triple Burst Dragon is here. Oh, what? Would you time out? Wow. Our deck is too crazy. Our deck is nuts. Wow, our deck caused a timeout on the very first turn. I mean, to be fair, I think it was a pretty complicated turn. Damn. He maybe fell out of his seat as soon as he saw that he drew into the tract. Let's hop into game number 2. Sinful Deception, tributing off our Fluid Loss. We're going to chain our Fluid Loss to their Fluid Loss being tributed. Thus, we're now going to be drawing per summon from the deck or extra deck. Let's go. Hallowed Azamina to the hand. Activate Hallowed Azamina. Send the Sinful Deception to summon a Sylvia under the effect of the Fluid Loss. Thus, our turn is going to be ending early. We have here is a Sylvia negate anything plus Nibiru tribute off the field. So double disrupt into the Lubellion, searching for our Serenir. Let's speed this up. Chaos Space, send Lubellion into a negate. I don't think so, mate. You will not be searching for a Lighter Dark monster from the deck with a different attribute than what you sent to the grave. So we're left with just Nibiru. Can we play through Nibiru? We're going to summon our Lubellion. A Borlode Savage Dragon that we could summon would not be legal in TCG. That card is banned. We got the Chaos Space, returning back the Lubellion, draw a card. Druid Swarm is going to banish away the Sylvia, not returning it back with Regained, as we go into a Dissipator. Dissipator can now negate. Because we didn't return back the Sylvia, only if Dissipator can return a banished card back into the opponent's deck do you actually negate that effect. So very nicely done. Some people maybe would have mistakenly used the Regained, and now you would not be able to negate Nibiru. Wow, that was it. Nibiru gets negated by Pater. How about I don't reveal I'm playing Nibiru? That is correct, right? Game 3, you don't know I'm playing it, and hopefully you play different. Mordred just went first through his own choice. Golem equipping into the back row, special summon itself, searching for the Wedju Temple. We could have ashed that if we wanted to. I'm not saying we should have. We have the Deception Sinful, which is what we should ash. I believe that is a good use of the ash. Negate. Now the Wedju Temple can equip our hand trap into the back row to then equip a monster from the deck. Yep, we got our Senjin, which the Fluid Loss is not going to be drawing off of, but we're just ready in case they were to summon from the deck or extra deck. Summon from the back row does not work against any of the Mulch armies, but it's enough for us to want to end our turn. Baldrake in the end phase, banish away that Diablo Star. We have Valor, and that's it. Oh boy, just Valor. Well, just Valor negating the Ash Blossom is pretty good. The problem is, if you can get 3 bodies in the field, you could full Fiendsmith, which Virus did show that he is playing. So let's speed this up. We are going to get Fiendsmith into Moon of the Closed Heaven, trigger the Serenir, send Lubellion, reborn the Lubellion by triggering off the monster, set up the Regained. We're now going to link away into Requiem. Requiem summon from the deck into our Engraver. Equip Requiem on Engraver. We're going to send Requiem plus the Golem to the grave, further going into the Sequence. Sequence will fuse with our graveyard 2 bodies to summon our Lacrima. Lacrima on summon will target Engraver to add to the hand to add a tract from the deck here. With the tract, we're going to essentially summon a Lurie onto the field. Say goodbye to Lurie, trigger the Lurie, get Reborning. We still have the Engraver to Reborn. We're going to make a triple burst Dragon, Engraver return back Sequence to come forth and summon. This will now be going into a Beatrice. Beatrice sent from the deck to the grave, an Absolrator. Absolrator searching for the Rocket Caliber. With the Rocket Caliber, we're going to summon and go into a Borland Dragon. We're going to use Lacrima return back Lurie to burn for 1200. We're going to use the effect of Borland to permanently negate the opposing monster to then reborn our Caliber on the field. Now, with that, straight to battle. Wedgie Temple putting the destroyed monster into the back row here. We're quite low on life because of the Millennium Engine burning for 2,000 per activation. We have Striker Dragon searching for the boot sector launch as we then end our turn. We just have a negate. Now, to just say we have a negate plus Nibiru, I think is going to not be given the full credit on the fact that Borland cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects and cannot be targeted by monster effects. It's pretty much unstoppable in addition to being able to negate a monster on the field. How do we out this? Droplet, which most people are not playing unless they're Tenpai. Imperm's a good way to stop it. Otherwise, I don't know. I think we just lose to a Borland being on the field. Deception Sinful, searching for the Hollowed Azamina. Triple Tactics Talent could be another way, that's right. But, I mean, what inherently? How about instead of draw the out, how do we out? We're going to Borland. Negate the Resalgo. You cannot chain to our negate as the Regained also reborns from Engrave, as we also, in addition, reborn our Caliber. You think Mordred's malding at this, yes? This was something to get upset about, I'd say. I agree. Baldrake's going to tribute away the monster you're targeting to push into the back row as we then banish away your Doomed Dragon. The unstoppable Borland is being unstoppable. Let's take out the Caliber. With that normal summoned Ash, we're going into a Moon of the Closed Heaven. I guess it could be outed if he chooses to Nibiru his own Borland. I would hope you wouldn't want to do that. Desiree could non-target negate, actually. Yeah. And then, within main phase 1, not main phase 2, after non-target negating, you could swing in, kill your Desiree, and then target the Borland, which is now targetable to send it to the graveyard. Do we even play the Desiree? We do. That was a potential option, but then you have to try to make all those plays through the fact that they're disrupting you trying to out the Borland. Wipe away the Engraver, lethal damage with our own Engraver, and just like that, Virus advancing into the top 8. Begin. Nicky Boy will go undisrupted with whatever he wants to do. Show us the best to your ability, the full power ceiling. Hit that ceiling. Let's go. Grab a Mausoleum with the Spirit with Eyes of Blue. We're going to send a Blue-Eyes Dragon from the deck to the grave. Maiden of White will set up the True Light into the back row. Spirit will then reborn the Blue Eyes, trigger the Maiden, reborn herself onto the field, as we now make a Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon in a much safer way to activate the True Light so we don't get blown out by an Ogre. Wishes will discard from our hand the Blue Eyes Jet Dragon, as we grab from the deck a Majesty and a Master with Eyes of Blue. Now, let's see what happens here. The Synchro Rumble has the Engrave effect of protecting from destruction. If a level 8 or Crimson Dragon would be destroyed by the effect of Spirit Dragon, you could banish this card instead. I knew that. Wow. Okay, we have the ability to pop 1 to 2 cards in the field with the Majesty. We have Valor negate a monster in the field. We have Crimson Dragon go into a form of disruption. We have Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon go into a form of disruption. We have Baron de Floor negates. That's about 5 disruption plus the protection of Jet Dragon. Other cards you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. Now, what happens if you Raigeki it? Do all the cards get destroyed at the same time? It will still protect the other cards. And then we have the Neo Ultimate protecting a Blue Eyes from being targeted. I'm not going to count those as forms of disruption. And then also we kind of have another form of disruption, which not really though. At the start of the damage step, if this battles, you can target a card your opponent controls and then return it back to the hand. What is going on here? Ultimate Spirit Dragon as part of our 5 forms of disruption. As we now go into a Cosmic Blazar summon. Many of you are used to seeing Cipher Dragon. Instead, with this, if your opponent would summon a monster, negate the summon. So let's say they have Sangan summoning, they normal summon Pydra with the Chandra in hand. Pydra gets negated, even with the field spell, and then Chandra can't get summoned. This card's crazy good. Card Scanner is going to YOLO try to draw a card. You have to correctly declare the bottom card of your deck. If there's a spell card at the bottom of your deck, you then get to draw it. We are going to pop that. That is a crazy disruption. Bro, what? How did Card Scanner delete 2 disruptions? We had 5, now we have 3 because of Card Scanner? Isn't this card trash? What the heck? If this face-up card is destroyed, you can make your opponent place a card from their hand to the bottom of the deck? We chose to put Valor to the bottom to keep Sage. Okay. Kaimin is going to add again Roku, which will trigger in hand to summon itself onto the field here. And Roku will jump off the field to summon from the deck, as the Ultimate Spirit will negate the activation of that effect. The Ultimate Spirit does not destroy, so this was a great negate. We're going to follow up with a Triple Tactics Thrust. I understand the mentality. I know this. It's a good idea to not negate a Triple Tactics Thrust, because if you do negate it, they can activate another one, right? If someone's playing Thrust, they may be playing more than one. You negate the activation, they activate a second one. Instead, you have the mentality, negate what they're adding. What are they adding? They're going to add a Triple Tactics talent, right? But then they didn't. And the card that could have negated the Thrust now can't negate the card they added, because the Ultimate Slayer cannot be responded to by monster effects. So we got blown out by not negating the Thrust. Oh boy. We're going to use the effect to send them along. This is 2 disruptions. That one Slayer outs both of... We have 0 disruption after this resolves. Nothing. From 2 to 1 to say goodbye to Baron de Floor. And it negates. We're at 0. And we haven't normal summoned yet. How did this happen? And we willingly got rid of our Valor? How did this happen? Kaiman's already used. Add Chandra? Oh, shoot. Jet Dragon's our last hope. Our last cope. At the start of the damage step, we could spin a card back if there isn't a Transcendent on the field. Reborn the Fadra, Fadra, Reborn the Chandra. Further going into a Transcendent, the Jet Dragon now cannot activate. We're going to True Light, Reborn from Engrave. At least we're going to have a full field of bodies, right? Full field. Chandra triggers, summon a Pydra from the deck, say goodbye to the Maiden. Pydra going to swing in just to get a second attack throw. On the third attack, we're going to summon a Bident. Bident is not going to pop the True Light, which it would have been it would have not been activatable as we summon the Transcendent after killing itself. Back in the field we go, say goodbye to the Baron de Floor. We're now going to activate the Synchro Shokan, going into the Trident Dragon. Trident Dragon is 18,000 damage. We're going to use the Sengen Summoning to boost it up, 3,000 damage to you. Say goodbye to you, but you do activate if it weren't for the Transcendent Dragon, which you cannot activate. Thus, we have 6,000 to the face. Oof, I cannot believe Tenpai won that. The Rust did not get negated because we were afraid of another thrust. 2 thrusts in the hand would make him look so bad if we negated the first one. But then adding the Slayer, which outs 2 of your disruptions, people are getting crafty with their board breakers. We got to be more careful. I don't know if the Majesty pop in the card scanner was the way or not. Insane plays. Let's get ready for game number 2, though. What is this? We're forcing Tenpai to go first. And Chicken Game is what you would normally see in the Sky Striker version, I believe. We are playing Sky Striker right into the Void. We're going to discard our entire hand during the end phase, by the way. Kaiman add the Pydra, summon our Pydra. We can then special summon the Chundra, replace our field spell with a Sangan Summoning. Sangan Summoning could add I guess Fadra. We'll just put it into the graveyard. It's going to be discarded anyway during the end phase. We can now use Triple Tactics Talent, thank you, as we now go into a Heretic Seal. With your Seal, you get to draw 1, but I now get to look at your hand, returning back whatever we want. Parry Resmap is the combo starter alongside Kaiser. Both are combo starters. We have the Triple Tactics Thrust into the ever so dirty Different Dimension Ground. Does this end our turn? Because this turn, any monster sent to the grave is banished instead. Was the Fool loss worth it? They looked at our hand, they set a Different Dimension Ground. TS Vac was ready. Now, we do have the ability to spin a monster or any face-up card back to our hand. We could also Droplet Negate, and the Different Dimension Ground will be the full turn Floodgate. So it's about triple for 3 ways of disrupting. Now, does this have to go to the graveyard to even activate? Let's read the effect. It is not viewable in the duel log for some reason. Send to the graveyard. So it would have not even been activatable had we used Different Dimension Ground early. But if you're thinking, why would you not activate this early? It would be because your droplet is then not activatable. You would turn off your own droplet at the cost of using this early. So I think we're and now we're like, oh crap, we should have just used it early. So now we're foregoing our droplet. We turned off our droplet for a late use of the Different Dimension Ground. The Heretic Seal is going to be activating to spin a face-up card back. We're going to want to spin away the Seahorse. Now, we're actually spinning back our own Sangan Summoning. That's interesting. And we didn't summon a Kokai Mirror Drago, which could have at least eaten up the battle phase. This is a duel. We're going to be grabbing the Sage, Druid Swarm banishing from either player's graveyard. The droplet is dead. Okay, the reason we didn't spin back the Seahorse is because we know it can't be sent to the grave due to the Different Dimension Ground, so it makes more sense here. Sure. Droplet can't be used because of Different Dimension Ground. Lucky that they hard opened up the Mausoleum. That's something. As they search for a Veiler, Roar summoning from the deck here. This Blue Eyes will get banished. As it does, going into our Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Battle we go, take out the Pydra, 3k to the face. We have an Omni Negate, a Veiler, and a Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Pretty much 3 disruption, which could possibly be up to 4. If they activate something relevant in grave, they're going to, this is a play. So what happens here is we cannot chain to the Ultimate Slayer a monster effect. So instead, we chain our True Light to the Ultimate Slayer, and then we could chain our monster effect to the True Light, which will now jump off the field, dodging the Ultimate Slayer. But Ultimate Slayer still gets the Malong in graveyard, which will activate to spin a monster back. But at least we don't lose both our monsters. That's pretty good. Yeah, and he's like, damn, you got me. Yup, you've been got. And I think we got ourselves there. Let's think, why did we lose? Because we let Maiden activate. Had we Different Dimension Ground in the draw phase, which we didn't want to because our droplet would have been turned off. So maybe we lost because we had droplet. Had we not had droplet, we would have just used Different Dimension Ground right away. There'd be no True Light. They wouldn't be able to chain to the Ultimate Slayer. They would have been blown out. They would have then got lethaled. Crazy stuff. Let's hop into game number 3. We do have Roar plus Veiler play. And that is the way. We do have Ash, Imperm, plus what else we have beyond that. Let's see how this goes. Nope, we're not going to do that. We're just, if you put a body on the field, your Imperm becomes way worse because it's likely that Tenpai is going to have a board-breaking field effect possibly, where it's much safer to keep the Imperm in hand. And if they have a crazy board breaker that also deals with your monster, you're essentially minusing 2 of your disruptions. And instead, just keep them in the hand, which will guarantee we have our forms of disruption. Let's go. In many ways, this is safer. It's too scary to commit to the field. Hornet drones into Max C. Now, how much does TSVAC want to commit under the effect of Max C? We just try to go for game. Hydra are going to get hit with the effect veiler, which we would have used to summon a Spirit Dragon. We safely have our Imperm in hand. The dragon would have been hit by the Ultimate Slayer. So it in fact was much... I think the fact that we knew he's playing Ultimate Slayer really helped us out in this third duel. Kaiman getting negated by Ash Blossom, that's massive. And that's it. We're still under Max C. We couldn't lethal damage. We're going to give them more draws under Max C, in fact. Kagari's going to add what? Hornet drones? We can't use Hornet drones again under Max C. Adding back to the hand does not really benefit us here there. And then goodbye to our hand during the end phase. Now, we learned from game 2 to use this right away. We're not going to wait. Any card sent to the grave is now banished. Now, beyond that, we have nothing. Nothing protecting us. 8,000 damage, weak bodies on the field. Can we find a way to deal as much damage as possible? Piri, Reese map, searching for the Sage, having our life points down to 3650, as the Kaiser Seahorse is not going to activate when sent to the grave to send a Maiden. We're going to be searching for the Mausoleum, allowing an additional summon. Additionally, summon the Sage. If we search for Maiden, it can't even set our True Light, so it's not worth even searching. We're going to Spirit with Eyes of Blue. Now, this is why it's a great benefit to wait for the different dimension ground. You hope that they search for a Maiden instead of Veiler, and then on resolution, you flip up the different dimension ground, and then they don't have Veiler. And then also the Maiden is not even activatable. So we could not perform lethal here. We do have lots of disruption, though. The Majesty will non-target pop. One card in the field. The Imperm will negate a monster, Veil will negate a monster, and the Heretic Seal will spin back a face-up card. We have Quadra Disruption. Ultimate Slayer, ain't no way. We're going to chain Majesty, so we could chain to our Majesty. Chaining Heretic Seal to the Majesty. So from 4 disruption, we're now down to 2. Just the Veiler and Imperm. We're going to spin away the Kagari, pop away the back row Hornet Drones. As the engrave card sent, it was what? The Tri-Brigade Arms will send a Garura to draw a card. Heretic Seal rarely turns into a form of disruption here, summoning from the deck, as it doesn't. Garura, draw, Magna Huts, search during the end phase. But will there be an end phase? Through Imperm and Veiler, there possibly will. We're now protected from Imperm and Veiler within main phase 1. Grabbing again Roku from the deck. Huh, what? Oops, what do you mean, oops? He did not activate Genroku by accident is how I would say what happened in this duel. That is crazy, because I think we straight up won. YouTube, that is the end of the top 16. We're going to be advancing into the top 8, starting off with Blue Eyes White Dragon against Dragon Link. I'll see you there. Let's go.